now invite Honourable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, and Mr. Arnab Goswami, Editor-in-Chief of the Republic Media Network, for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp.
Big round of applause as the Honourable Minister, accompanied by Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami, keeps up the tradition, the gesture symbolizing the auspicious start. And as a gesture of gratitude, thank you so much, Mr. Goyal and Mr. Arnab Goswami. And I would in fact request, as a gesture of gratitude, to invite Mr. Arnab Goswami on stage to present a small token of respect and admiration on behalf of our network.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone present here, my dear friends from the corporate world, from the business fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure and personal pride to introduce Shri Piyush Goyal, who is our indefatigable Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, who jets around continents. He chairs back-to-back meetings. It is sometimes suspected he's in 2 continents on one day. He leads global summits, and he's on round-the-clock negotiations, presently with the United States of America. We're very proud, Mr. Goyal, that you are the person who's leading that negotiation with the Trump administration, and it makes me so happy and proud that despite all your global commitments, you are with us today. It is just, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing about Mr. Piyush Goyal I want to say, every time he comes for a Republic event, I wait to receive him. And I always tell my team, call me 5 minutes before he comes, because he's always on time. There are 2 people who are always on time, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and Mr. Piyush Goyal. It's true, sir. It's true, sir. And every time, in fact, on November 4th, 2025, a video went viral. He was spotted at Delhi's Indira Gandhi Airport, turning a flight delay into a productive time by poring over official files, signing documents, even en route to New Zealand for the FTA talks. So he wastes no time, and it always makes me believe that what my grandfather told my father was true. He said, son, if you want something done immediately, give it to a person who is extremely busy. It's more likely that he will do the job than anyone else. So I think he is going to sign that FTA deal with America also sooner than we think. But more than that, I will wrap this up by saying that he is a friend of the Republic Media Network, and I have great pride in saying, I do think I can say, Piyush, after all these years of knowing you, that you're a personal friend as well. He is a great man. He's been with me in my highs and lows. In fact, many, if I can share, many years back, I sat and had a coffee with him at the Taj, and I said, Piyush, I'm going to turn into an entrepreneur. So he said, if you feel that you want to do it, you just go ahead and do it. So thank you for that encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Piyush Goyal is uncompromising on India's terms. He negotiates hard. He represents the spirit of the Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. He tells startup founders, build India's real businesses, manufacturing, drones, robotics. He stood here outside my office and he said, isn't that a robotics company there? He knows where to spot talent. Sometimes he makes controversial statements, but I support him. But he talks straight. When I saw him speak to a top German politician, And he told the German politician, we did this business with you, but you didn't give it back. Many people felt it was rude, but I felt it was not rude. He was talking straight to him. And I think, Mr. Goyal, the world respects your straight talk. And I think that you, people like you, represent the new India. More than that, lastly, I will say in conclusion, Mr. Piyush Goyal's personal, professional trajectory has been incredible. He's a self-made man. And he had a great career for all the youngsters here in investment banking. And he gave it all up to join politics and to serve the country. And he had 4.5 years term left in Rajya Sabha and he was leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha as well. He gave it all up to fight a Lok Sabha election where he won with a record margin. So congratulations now. Very few people can be professional, top minister, and mass politician and global negotiator rolled into one. In the middle of all that, he finds time to come to the Republic Media Network. Thank you very much, Mr. Piyush Goyal. The floor is yours. We're so happy to have you with us. Thank you, Piyush.
Thank you very much, Arnab. Truly delighted that after months, possibly years of waiting, you finally invited me here. I'm just setting the record straight. Deri meri taraf se nahi thi. But very, very happy to see the wonderful work Republic Network has done in terms of creating world-class facilities, has a pool of dedicated and committed young professionals working for you, and the deep commitment to nation first that I could see reflected all over the place. Congratulations, Arnab. Congratulations, the Team Republic. In fact, for me, it's also a matter of great satisfaction that the story of Republic TV juxtaposes very closely with the India story. They perform best in challenging times, when there's adversity around. I was just seeing the picture of him being arrested and being falsely implicated. And I can say this on record, falsely implicated. In 2020, but he came out a winner, unscathed, stood for what was right, and compliments Arnab. Keep that spirit flying always. Friends, as we speak here, as we meet here today, the Honorable Prime Minister has just visited Goa and is now in Karnataka. He unveiled a 77-feet statue of Lord Ram, who represents India's most revered personality. अगर हम देखें तो भारत की आस्था भगवान श्री राम के साथ जुड़ी हुई है. और कोई देश जो अपनी विरासत, अपनी संस्कृति, अपनी आस्था को संभालता नहीं है, उसको आगे नहीं बढ़ाता है, वो कभी विकसित नहीं हो सकता. You cannot have a developed nation who's not rooted to their tradition, their culture, their heritage, who doesn't respect history. And I think we as a nation can be proud that we have rediscovered that mojo. We are today on the go. The country today is respected, is trusted across the world, is recognized for being the fastest growing large economy, is appreciated for the talent, the skill, the high aspirations that young India represents. And it is this country, the dream of 1.4 billion Indian being converted to reality, in which we are all stakeholders We are all partners. Friends, why I like Republic TV is they don't just do breaking news. They actually do building of the nation. They are willing to talk about uncomfortable subjects. They want to present to the country, to the world, true reality. They want to encourage honest debate, fearless journalism. And I think a channel, news media outlet that focuses on nation first can never go wrong, because that nationalistic streak, that spirit of India first is what drives 1,600 young men and women in Republic Television, Republic Digital, working through different languages to showcase the India story. And today's summit, speaking about India at an inflection point, is an appropriate subject at a point of time where India is taking off, never to look back again. Friends, for a change, we are all privileged. And me personally, I'm very, very privileged that Arnab has given me 30 minutes of uninterrupted time. Thank you, Arnab, for that. In fact, I recall the day when I had opened the debate for the Bharatiya Janata Party, the principal opposition party in the Rajya Sabha, about 14 years ago, when Arnab had grilled me on television at the end of the day, but also encouraged me as a new member of parliament. And it's been a friendship over many years where I have always sought his guidance, benefited hugely from his advice. And today, I feel equally proud, as I'm sure he and each one of you from the Republic Network feels, and all the stakeholders involved in the journey of 8 years, truly committed to contributing to the Viksit Bharat story in the Amrit Kal that we are all privileged to be a part of. India has emerged victorious through many inflection points in our history. I wouldn't go back to the 3,000-year-old history. I wouldn't even go back to the 500-year-old history, where India was truly one of the principal players in the world economy. Years of subjugation, years of Mughal rule, years of colonial rule set back India many, many notches. We gained independence in 1947, but if you look back, the independence movement also rested on the pillar of Swadeshi. Mahatma Gandhi gave Swadeshi a lot of focus. He spoke about Atmanirbhar Bharat in terms of Swadeshi, promoting Swadeshi 100 years ago. And Mahatma Gandhiji's ideals, his teachings, if somebody was to study or if Republic was to do some research on all that Mahatma Gandhiji stood for, you will find Prime Minister Modi's programs, economic, social, or political, reflecting Mahatma Gandhi's teachings at their very best. उन्होंने महात्मा गांधी जी के दिखाए हुए रास्ते को धरातल पर, जमीन पर उतारा, लोगों के बीच लेके गए, 140 करोड़ देशवासियों को उसके साथ जोड़ा और आज एक नेशनल मूवमेंट के रूप में गांधी जी के संस्कारों को हम जी रहे हैं, उनको आगे लेके जा रहे हैं और उसके आधार पर एक विकसित भारत की नींव रख रहे हैं. Friends, if you look at the adversities the nation has faced, India had a very weak economic situation in 1998 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji became Prime Minister. We were weak in terms of our national security. The economy was in a bad shape. Low growth, high interest rates, high inflation, low foreign exchange reserves, high interest rates which would lead to difficulty for small entrepreneurs to stand on their feet, low recognition around the world. Prime Minister Vajpayee did the nuclear blasts at Pokhran to make India a nuclear power, not as an aggressor. India has never been an aggressor, but for self-defense, to protect and secure our borders. Many countries sanctioned us. We witnessed difficulties in our immediate economic situation, but the country stood as one. And in a short span of 5 years thereafter, by 2004, we had moved from a 4% growth to an 8.4% growth. Inflation had come down from 8% to 4%. Forex reserves had grown 3x. Banking interest rates were amongst the lowest India had ever seen. A strong economy, despite sanctions and despite all the difficulties that he had inherited. Why I'm reminding you of that is, it's very important for stability, continuity in politics to help the nation grow rapidly on a sustained basis in the long run. Unfortunately, in 2004, Vajpayee ji lost the election. We got a government whose finance minister in his first speech recognized that he had inherited a very strong economy and would be able to grow from there. Sadly, we saw a strong inherited economy in 2004 turn into a fragile 5 economy by 2014. The 10 years of UPA misrule, full of corruption scandals, many of which were exposed by Mr. Goswami himself. Skeletons tumbling out of the cupboard, literally on a weekly or monthly basis. We saw India once again get down the path from 8% growth to 4% growth by 2014. 4% inflation to double-digit inflation. A broken banking system. Very low forex reserves, because of which the then finance minister had to borrow at very high rates. We have very senior luminaries from the finance world before me who will recall that in September 2013, country almost faced a forex crisis when we paid 2% more than our international borrowing rates just to raise $35 billion and shore up our dwindling forex reserves and protect the currency. The world had written off India in 2014 when the nation chose to replace a corrupt, inefficient government with Prime Minister Narendra Modi receiving an absolute majority and the NDA getting a solid mandate to bring good governance back to India. Friends, I remember in 2014 there was a lot of talk that we should come out with a white paper so that the world knows what the situation is. As Arnab would say, the nation wanted to know what went wrong, who's responsible. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi chose not to take out the white paper. When you have a difficulty in your home, in your business, do you go and tom-tom it, publicize it? Or do you try to set things right? He decided we will set it right. You don't show your weak chinks in your armor to the world and expect to come out of it. Friends, we have seen 10 years of good governance, a leader who leads from the front, a decisive leader, somebody who's devoted 50 years of his life to the nation for public service, 24 years in government, first as Chief Minister of Gujarat, 11 and a half years now as Prime Minister of the country, unblemished, not one bad mark on a 50-year career in public service. Not one blemish. बेदाग 50 वर्ष भारत की सेवा में. And in the last 11 years, India has moved up from a fragile 5 to the top 5 economies. Today we sport amongst the world's top 5 forex reserves, $700 billion of reserves, in the club of the highest reserves which 5 countries in the world have. Growth rates are amongst the highest in the world. We are the fastest growing large economy consistently for the last 4 years. We are expected to be the fastest growing economy for the next 20-25 years. We'll be the 3rd largest economy in the world in the next 2.5 years. From a $4 trillion economy today, we'll be a $30 or $35 trillion economy by 2047. When we all celebrate 100 years of independence. Interest rates are at reasonable levels. Unemployment is at its lowest ever. Our banking system is strong. Net NPAs would be probably less than 0.5% of the Indian banking system, following norms which are tighter than the best of the countries. With high growth, low inflation, low interest rates, high forex reserves, strong banking system, we represent macroeconomic fundamentals which are the envy of the world. Amongst the developing countries, one of the best economies on a trajectory of growth which will help take us from $2,800 per capita income to a $20,000 per capita income. In fact, Standard & Poor in 2012 had reported, and I quote, India will be the first BRIC nation to fail. And that same Standard & Poor has recently upgraded our national ratings, which I still believe has scope for a further upgrade. And incidentally, friends, this has happened, this journey of 12 years, 11 and a half years, rests on 3 pillars. Focus on public welfare, 250 million people, 25 crore log गरीबी की रेखा से बाहर निकले. It's an unenviable record. Nowhere in the world in a decade have we seen such a large mass of humanity 25 crore people get out of extreme poverty. There was a time when movies were made on the distress of our people. Roti, kapda, makan, or a movie showing our ladies going to the fields for their daily needs, or going to the well to collect water, singing away. We almost glorified poverty. Prime Minister Modi decided enough is enough. Every child born in India should have the privilege of his basic needs being taken care of. Food, clothing, shelter, health, education, good roads, connectivity, 24 hours electricity, water flowing into the homes from a tap, a toilet in every home. Can you believe 67 years after we became independent, half the country's population didn't have a toilet at home? Was that acceptable to anybody? Any viewer of Republic TV? Governments came and went, nobody recognized. Our sisters, our daughters deserve dignity. 12 crore toilets were built in a span of 3 years so that every rural home has its own toilet. No woman ever has to face that indignity of going to the fields. Through Jal Jeevan Mission, water is being taken to every home through a tap. We have already ensured every village, every home has an electric connection at home or in the farms. Friends, when these basic needs are taken care of through social welfare, you ensure young India. We have one of the youngest populations in the world, 28 and a half years average age. You ensure young India is empowered to dream big, think big, aspire big, and achieve big. It is that young India, 1 billion internet users. 1 billion internet users in India today. By the way, we also have the second largest number of chat GPT users anywhere in the world in India. What we were just seeing Google representative present. All of this is empowering young India and empowering the India growth story, which is why we say India is at an inflection point from where we are going to take off to the next level seamlessly on the back of our democracy, rule of law, our decisive leadership, our demographic dividend, the young aspirational Indian, the demand that 140 crore Indians generate, the diversity that we are proud of, the dependability that trusted India as a partner presents to the whole world. India is on the move and there's no stopping India now. And friends, I'd like to bucket this whole growth story, the story of public welfare, the story of massive investments in infrastructure, which has led to jobs, economic opportunities, growing industrialization, the effort to provide connectivity to the remotest corners of India, and the multiplier impact that infrastructure investments gets you. And with the recent moves to cut income tax rates for the middle class, to reduce GST rates on almost every item of daily use, the effort to make consumption spending the third pillar of India's growth, social welfare, infrastructure, and consumer spending. These three pillars help India look to the future with confidence. In fact, 2,300 years ago, Chanakya in Arthashastra had outlined threefold duties for Raj Dharma. And these three pillars of growth can only succeed further if we all contribute, recognizing our dharma. Dharma in the form of duties. We all talk of rights. Arnab talks of the right for the nation to know. But he also talks of our duties as a nation, of our duties of nation first, of our nationalistic spirit, our duty towards our fellow citizen, our duty towards our colleagues, our family, our friends. And therefore, good governance, Raj Dharma, will come on the strength of three pillars. Vriddhi, which is growth, value enhancement. Vriddhi is as you succeed in life. We are doing a lot of work in the country on the economic front, on the social front. Second pillar, Palan. Do we all follow rules? Are we all a part of good governance? Are we all focused on compliance? Meet the needs or demands made of us as a good global citizen? And the third of Yogakshem, inclusive growth, ensuring that everybody in this country gets good opportunity for the future. And it shows you that even 2,300 years ago, the then rulers recognized the importance of duty, recognized the importance of justice, of an organized society, recognized the importance of taking everybody along as the nation grew. And the way forward, ladies and gentlemen, is to never let any opportunity go waste. Cash in on every single opportunity that we get. While the whole world is going through turbulent times, India is that one oasis of peace, progress, and prosperity. The world wants to do business with us. You spoke about the US. I can list out how many negotiations are parallelly going on today with countries who wish to expand and strengthen their relations, particularly on trade and economic front, and invest in India. We have negotiations with the 27-nation European Union, bloc of 27 prosperous developed countries, with the United States of America, with New Zealand, a second phase agreement with Australia, with Oman, possibly soon with the other GCC countries, either individually or GCC as a whole, the 6 Middle East countries, with Eurasia, Russia, and all the Central European countries. Recently, when Prime Minister was at the G20 in South Africa, he announced Canada and India will enter into a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. I already got a message from my counterpart from Canada. Next week, we start discussing. South Africa has indicated the desire, and we are going to be talking to the group of Southern African nations called SACU. President Lula and Prime Minister Modi discussed the next stage of a preferential trade agreement between Mercosur countries from Latin America and India. Look about it. North, south, east and west. You'll find countries around the globe who look upon India as a trusted, dependable partner. Who can see in Prime Minister Modi a man on a mission, a leader who means business, who understands business, and who believes that good economics makes for good politics, and who has proven that the people of India recognize and respect if you do good work. You did not vote him into government for the third time in a row, something almost unprecedented in today's turbulent world. Unless you are confident that he's a person who can deliver. And good governance is at the core of the Modi way of working, core of his philosophy. And therefore, as Warren Buffett said, and I quote, "When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble." When opportunity arrives, when opportunity is at our doorstep, don't miss a single opportunity. And I appeal to all the young viewers and listeners to this discussion. Today is the opportunity. India is on the move. India is providing more opportunities than ever before to our young entrepreneurs, to our startups, to our innovators, to our business persons, to our young men and women contributing, who are working, whether as an employee, whether as an entrepreneur, whatever field you are in. You could be in the services sector, you could be in manufacturing. Put in your best. A news anchor, give it your best. The person who kept this whole premises so beautiful he or she has put in their best in keeping this beautifully. Every cameraman is doing his best to contribute to the nation. And every single Indian, 140 crore of us, collectively are a part of this journey. As Prime Minister Modi often says, when each one of us takes one step forward, we as a nation take 140 crore steps forward. And collectively, we can truly transform India, take India to the highest levels of growth and prosperity for every child born in this country. Our partnerships are built on trust. Our partnerships are built on mutual respect. And this partnership between 140 crore Indians, inter se, between the government and you, between the world and India, this will be the defining moment which will be remembered for years, where India as a nation resolved collectively to work with a sense of duty, to shed the colonial mindset, to remain strong, united, unified, preserve and protect our traditions and cultures, and work as a team to make India a developed and prosperous nation by 2047, a Viksit Bharat that, as the Oneida ad had said, is owner's pride and neighbor's envy. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goyal. Thank you so much. And I request you to please stay on with us.